Hi everyone, Jen from Modified Macros here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the 9 biggest myths that I hear about the ketogenic diet. I'm going to set the record straight, give you facts that you need, and let you know all the real info that there is on starting the ketogenic diet. Myth number 1, and this one is huge. I hear it all the time. You will lose weight on the ketogenic diet, but the second you stop, you're gonna gain all that weight right back. No. Actually, that is scientifically impossible. If somebody is telling you that, especially if they are trying to sell you on a different form of health and wellness or a health and fitness program, I want you to run. Do not walk, run from them. Here's the truth of the matter. It is scientifically impossible for that to happen. If you lose 45 pounds on the ketogenic diet and lick a donut, you're not gonna grow back 45 pounds overnight. You're also not gonna gain your weight back immediately by going back to eating carbs. That is not true. It just isn't. When you lose fat, you lose fat. And the only way to gain it back is to eat an excess of calories for the day, an excess of fat for the day, and have that fat and energy not be expelled and stored as adipose tissue. So yeah, if you end keto and you go back to eating the way you were that got you to where you started, before you started keto, you'll probably gain weight again. If you go back to eating a 12-pack of beer every night, pizzas, donuts, and junk, you're gonna gain the weight back, but you would have gained it back if you did any other program. There is no difference between losing weight through the ketogenic diet and losing weight by running every day, exercising 7 days a week, doing Whole30, 21-day fix, paleo, anything else. When you lose fat, you lose fat. And to gain it back, you have to gain it back. It doesn't come on more quickly because you lost it from keto. That is a scare tactic, and it is absolutely not true. In fact, there are safe ways if you decide that you want to go back to eating carbs to carb cycle yourself out of keto where your body doesn't even have an influx. But if you don't, it's okay. Your body will adjust. It usually just takes about 2 weeks. You might see an uptick in the scale of 5 to 10 pounds. That is not fat, you guys. It is water weight. When you eat carbohydrates, your body retains water around the carbohydrate molecules, and it causes you to have an uptick. But you will not gain all of your weight right back. When you lose fat, you lose fat. It doesn't come back any quicker because you lost it eating on keto. Myth number 2. And this is actually kind of tied with myth number 1. I hear it all the time as well. Keto is a fad diet. No. Sorry, it's not. I know it could be mistaken as one, and I can see how it could be because I myself believed it when I heard other people saying that to me all the time before I started. But the truth is the ketogenic diet was developed by scientists and doctors as a therapeutic diet for cognitive disorders. It was sort of found by accident, but when they did figure it out, and they figured it out by putting the body back into ketosis. That's right, I said back, because believe it or not, your native state is ketosis. When we are babies, we are in ketosis. Body is running off of ketones. And when the body stopped running off of glucose and carbohydrates and started running on ketos, and the brain started running on ketones, which is its preferred energy source, many of these cognitive disorders dissipated, almost fully sometimes. So children with epilepsy were put on this and saw a drastic reduction in seizures. People who had other cognitive diseases, such as Alzheimer's, saw a drastic decrease in their symptoms. People who had certain types of brain cancers, other neurological disorders, they saw a vast increase in their health and wellness through the ketogenic diet. Some of the other things that they found with it too was that it reduces systemic inflammation in the system. You're not eating sugar, you're not eating carbohydrates, so that inflammation's decreasing. So people like me who have an autoimmune disorder, Hashimoto's, or MS, or other types of autoimmunes, they saw a decrease. Rheumatoid arthritis is another big one, and osteoarthritis, which I also have. They saw a decrease in that. They saw a decrease in inflammation. People felt better. But then they found another magical thing with the keto diet. It happens to aid in weight loss. They found that in patients who were obese to morbidly obese, by eating on the ketogenic diet and eating in the ketogenic way, all of a sudden they were losing weight without having to exercise, which was amazing because a lot of these patients were not capable of doing workouts. They weren't capable of getting that physical activity. So by changing their diet and changing the way the body saw fat, instead of seeing fat as stored energy that they use as a secondary form, keto makes it so that fat is your first form of energy. It's what the body goes to first. So their fat stores were being depleted just to do everyday activities. Did it kind of pick up because of that? Of course. People saw tons of just good experiences by being on keto. People felt better, they were sleeping better, and they were losing weight. Now, a fad diet, of course, is something that is gimmicky. It's something that has extreme depletions of food, or, you know, something like the Master Cleanse or 21-Day Fix, where you're putting food in containers to eat it, or, you know, Atkins, where there's all these phases. So I see how keto can be confused with that, but it absolutely was not developed to be a fad diet because it wasn't developed for weight loss. It was developed for cognitive disorders and systemic inflammation disorders. This just happened to be a side effect of it. I was put on the keto diet by a doctor and then a nutritionist. They sat in a room with me and they both gave me options for what I should do. And with all of my symptoms, they decided that the keto diet was the best way to go. They have 6 degrees between them. I trust them more than someone on Facebook telling me that I'm just doing a fad diet that's gonna make me gain all my weight right back. It's not. It's not a fad diet, and I'm not gonna gain all my weight right back. Myth number 3, all you eat on the ketogenic diet is bacon and butter. We do eat bacon, we do eat butter. I actually don't eat bacon that often, but it's not that type. It's not high in saturated fats, and that's where sometimes the internet can get you confused. You think if you eat keto, you're gonna eat cream cheese and butter and really fatty meats. Really, keto, when done correctly, is about choosing intentional fats, heart-healthy fats, macadamia nuts and olives, and heart-healthy oils like coconut and avocado. It's about choosing fruits that are low in carbohydrates like berries. It's choosing green leafy vegetables that are high in iron and fiber, but low in carbohydrates. It's about choosing lean meat. Usually it is recommended to get organic or no antibiotics because hormones are important on keto, and anything with added hormones can help throw it off. It's about grass-fed butters, it's about whole dairy cheeses, it's about, you know, whole dairy cream. So yeah, we eat a higher fat diet, but if you were just eating bacon and butter, it would cause more problems than not. The ketogenic diet, I want you to think of it more as kind of a Mediterranean diet, with higher fat fishes, higher fat cheese and dairy, but the good kind, the kind that is heart healthy. Macadamia nuts are very high in fat, but it's monosaturated fat that works amazing for your body. It's also high in tons of other things like antioxidants and iron and calcium even, B vitamins. That's what the ketogenic diet is really about. It is not just bacon and butter. We're not just sitting there eating sticks of butter and dipping our bacon in it. That's not all we're doing, but we can, which is really nice. Number 4, the ketogenic diet is completely unhealthy for your body. I think that this stems off of what I just told you for number 3, where people think we're eating lots of saturated fats when you're actually not. The ketogenic diet is very focused on unsaturated fats, and fats that are really good for you. So I can see where people would think that, but the truth is, this is what happens when you go into ketosis on the keto diet. High blood pressure lowers, high cholesterol lowers, blood sugar lowers. These are things that can be controlled. I am fully controlling my Hashimoto's thyroiditis right now with the ketogenic diet. I have had no flare-ups since January, since I started. I have cured cystic acne, I have cured my psoriasis all through this diet. It actually promotes a very healthy gut health, which is very important for regulating things like your immune system and helping to keep your body and hormones regulated. The ketogenic diet is one of the healthier things you can do for your diet. And I get it. It sounds like it's not, right? Because you're eating all this fat. How could that possibly work? Magic. Actually, science. Your body is just viewing fat differently when you're in ketosis, you guys. It's no longer seen as this bad stored energy that's just there for a rainy day. It is now seen as the primary and preferred fuel source. So that is why when you are eating high fats, you are still telling your body, yes, we are still using fat instead of carbohydrates and glucose. It's healthy. It helps with systemic inflammation. It helps with cognitive disorders. It's not going to put your body, if you were doing it right, into a bad state. Myth number 5. Keto cannot be a lifestyle. This one I think comes from where people think it's too hard to sustain, but the truth is once you're on keto for a while, you will notice that it actually is incredibly easy to sustain and that keto is preferred. I thought for sure that I could not live without crusty bread and pizza crust. But it turns out I feel so much better without it and I don't crave it. I have no sugar cravings and I have no carb cravings anymore. And when I have an opportunity to come off of the ketogenic diet, I choose not to because I feel too good to do it. But it can be a lifestyle, and I think people confuse that because they think that you will always have to eat this way, and you don't. There are so many ways that you can use the ketogenic diet with carb cycling where you can actually have days that you eat normal again. And if you're using it for weight loss and you're doing it for 3 months or 6 months or 9 months, then you come off of it, you can choose to do so. But it absolutely can be a lifestyle, and most people that start keto and see great results, they choose not to come off of it because of how good they feel and because of how much better they are doing with their health. Myth number 6 kind of comes off of this, and that is your body needs carbs. People think it can't be a sustained lifestyle because you absolutely have to have carbs for your body. So this is not true, but also it's a little bit true. So here's the real nitty-gritty, you guys. The truth of the matter is you can go for an extended period of time without adding carbs to your body. And by not adding carbs, I mean staying at the 20 net grams that is recommended for ketogenesis. However, most doctors, including my own, after I was on keto for 9 months, told me that they would have me do something called carb cycling, which is where I pick one day that's a refeed day. Now, it's not necessarily because my body needs carbs, and it's not necessarily because, or it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna eat a loaf of crusty bread or shove donuts in my mouth. What it means is I need to add keto carbs, but a little bit higher, to feed my adrenals and my thyroid. I do have an issue that attacks my thyroid. My thyroid is weakened because of that, and your thyroid does need carbs for creating the hormones it creates. Your adrenal system also, after being depleted from carbs for a while, needs a little jolt. Does it mean you have to come off keto or you have to stop? No. It usually means that you either add a refeed day where you go to 50 to 100 net carbs, or you just make it a cheat day, or you start carb cycling where you do 2 days on, 1 day off, or 2, 3, whatever it turns out to be. But it's usually just 1 day a week. And you guys will see that in so many other workout programs that you will do. I have seen refeed days in several nutrition programs that are out there, and it's there to feed your adrenals. So does my body need super high carbs like the American diet is used to, and sugar? No, it does not. Does it once in a while need a little bit of a kick so that my adrenals can recharge, so that my thyroid can recharge? Yes. And that's what it means. And I think it just got skewed in the internet somewhere along the way where doctors said, well, after a while you need to, up your carbs a little bit. But it's not grains and it's not refined, sugar, that type of thing. You're still eating ketogenic foods during this time. Number 7, you can never eat bread again. Like I said, with carb cycling, you absolutely can. In fact, on my high carb days, I can do that and then go right back to keto, and my body does not miss a beat. Some people can't. Some people need to stay on a strict keto diet. But it doesn't mean that you'll never be able to eat that way again. It doesn't mean that you'll lose all this weight and then you can never touch bread again. There's absolutely so many resources out there to help you come off of keto in a way that doesn't give a shock to your body, and you can go back to eating your crusty bread or your muffins, whatever have you, if you choose so. But I have a feeling if you've been on keto for a while, you're not gonna make that choice. Exogenous ketones are just an expensive pee. No. This is another thing, I'm not even sure where it started. I will tell you that I mostly hear it from people who are not doctors, who are not scientists. The brand of exogenous ketones that I use just happened to be developed with the US Air Force and NASA scientists. Those guys are pretty smart, last I checked. Exogenous ketones have been used for decades by athletes, people in sports, Olympians, that type of thing to help with sports performance. Exogenous ketones have been used in other dietary programs. Believe it or not, MCT oil is an exogenous ketone. All exogenous ketones mean is it is something that enters your body that causes extra ketones to be made or extra ketones to enter the bloodstream that allows your body to reap some benefits of, ketosis that it might not on its own. When your body is making ketones on its own, do you need them? No, you don't. You also don't need electrolyte supplements. You also don't need a multivitamin. These are things we usually take because we feel better or we like them, right? But exogenous ketones aren't an expensive pea. It's impossible. They go into your bloodstream. The ones that I take are beta hydroxybutyrate, and they are absorbed immediately and quickly into my bloodstream. They're not just going into my stomach, passing into my bladder really quickly, and being peed out so that it looks like. I use a blood test to see where my blood levels are, and my blood levels are always elevated after using exogenous ketones. So it is not an expensive pea. There are several papers from NASA. There are several papers from scientists and doctors on exogenous ketones. There are several athletes and coaches and sports therapists and strength and conditioning coaches that actually recommend using exogenous ketones. They are not necessary, but they do help, and it is not just a waste. It is not just an expensive pea. They are going into your bloodstream. They are telling your body there are ketones here. It is helping your body decide to start making, instead of just having exogenous ketones, it helps your body actually start to make extra ketones as well. Myth number 9, you're gonna feel awful. So I think this comes from keto flu. So you're gonna have keto flu anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks. And it feels like a hangover. But it's essentially your body detoxing from basically all the damage we've done with it. I had a super sugar-laden and carb-heavy diet, and I didn't even realize it before, you guys, until I went off of it, and I went, wow, this feels crappy. Are there ways to help alleviate that? Of course. Electrolytes, just like you would with a hangover. You might feel a little nauseous as your body becomes fat adapted. That is normal, but once you pass that hump, and anyone who has done it will tell you, you will never find somebody who did this and didn't get past that, you feel amazing. I remember the first day that I came off my keto flu, when I woke up, how I felt, and my husband was like, have you already started drinking? It's like 6 a.m., you're in such a good mood. I just felt on top of the world. So you're not gonna feel awful on keto. You might at first when you start, and if you haven't gotten information, if you don't have a support system, if you don't have a support group to help get you through this, you might think, wow, this feels terrible. Why would I ever do this? It only lasts for a little while, and it's literally your body detoxing and changing. So it has to stop gears because it was running off glucose and carbs, stop, and go back to the way your body was originally running, which is running off of ketones and fat stores. So those are 9 myths that I hear on social media all the time for keto. Almost all of them unfounded, almost all of them incorrect, or somehow the information is skewed. It is so important, you guys, that you know the difference between what is right and wrong. The internet can be a dangerous place because information is sometimes just opinions turned facts. So if you guys have any more questions, you can always hit me up in the comments. Of course, you can join my Facebook group right here. I offer 24/7 support, meal plans, and info on how you can make the ketogenic diet work the best for you. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.